I think a lot of people have this experience where they understand English, but when they try to speak, it feels slow. And they have to think before every sentence. They know what they want to say, but it doesn't come out right away. And I think a big reason for that is translation. A lot of learners are translating from their first language into English. So instead of thinking directly in English, there's an extra step. You think of the idea in your own language, and then you try to convert it into English. And that step takes time. So even if you know the words, it doesn't feel natural. Because you're building a sentence somewhere else first, and then bringing it into English. But I don't think people do this on purpose. I think it just happens. Because that's how you learned. You learned English by connecting it to your own language. So your brain keeps going back to it, and that makes sense, but it also creates a habit. And that slows you down when you speak. And I think this is something a lot of people don't realize. Translation doesn't just slow you down, it also changes how your sentences sound. Because when you translate, you're not just translating words, you're translating structure. So sometimes the sentence might be correct, but it doesn't sound natural. And that's why even people with good grammar can still sound a little unnatural because the sentence was built somewhere else first and then moved into English. But real English usually doesn't work like that. It's more direct, more simple, and sometimes less perfect, but more natural. So for example, someone might try to translate a full sentence when a native speaker would just say something simple like, I don't know, or maybe, or we'll see. And those small responses don't require translation. They're automatic. And I think that's the key difference. Native speakers don't translate, they react. They just react. They hear something and they respond immediately. And I think that's what makes speech feel fast and natural. It's not just about knowing English, it's about how quickly you can access it. So if you want to stop translating, it's not about forcing yourself to stop. It's about getting used to thinking in English, little by little. You don't have to start with long sentences. You can start with very simple things. Simple reactions, simple thoughts. Things like, that's good, that's interesting, I don't know, I think so. These are all the kinds of phrases that can become automatic over time. And once small things become automatic, bigger sentences start to feel easier. Because now, you're not just building everything from the beginning, some parts are already there. So I think the goal is not to stop translating completely, but to reduce it over time and replace it with more direct thinking, even if it's just a little at first. Because when that starts to happen, English doesn't just feel easier, it feels faster and more natural. So yeah, if speaking English feels slow, it might not be your level, it might just be that you're translating too much. And once you start thinking more directly, even in small ways, you'll notice that things start to feel easier. And it's not going to be perfect, but more natural. And that's really the goal.